Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over our Season 3 playoff second round match against Matt, aka the coach of the London Luxrays. I did upload a team builder, which would have been up yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, I will link it in the description, but if you just want a quick overview, I have a Nasty Plot Life Orb Azelf, a Dragon Dance Poisonium Z Haxorus, a specially defensive Kyurem, a fast bulky stall breaking Whimsicott with Encore and U-Turn, a specially defensive Heatran with Taunt, Toxic, Stealth Rock, and Flash Cannon, and as well as the Power Up Punch Last Resort set on Mega Lopunny. So, looking at Matt's team, he brought Mamoswine, Thunderous Therian, Drapion, Mega Latios, Alolan Marowak, and Uxie, and big thing to note, no Sylveon. So, the Poison Z Crystal on Haxorus, a little bit useless, which is unfortunate. But another big thing is that no Sticky Webs either, which means that pretty much the taunt on Heatran is kind of useless. And last thing to note, no Chestnut, which means ballistic moves from Azelf are like free to be spammed, basically. I don't need to worry about bulletproof blocking them. As well, without the Chestnut or the Blastoise, that probably means that Uxie will be the switch into Mega Lopunny if I had to guess. But yeah, so looking at team preview right now, because he didn't have the Ariados, I wasn't really sure what his lead was. I figured that my safest play overall would have been to lead with Whimsicott. I figured his most likely lead was probably Drapion, and if that was the case, I needed to scout for a poison move, or to see if it was going to set up Toxic Spikes, so I'm going to lead Whimsicott here, as he actually also leads Drapion, like I expected. So, I'm going to hard switch out into, I'm going to U-turn into Heatran, trying to see if he goes for the poison move, but he shows that he does indeed have the Toxic Spikes. So now I need to scout for, as we see Black Sludge's is revealed here. Also to note, the U-turn reveals that he is not max HP. So I'm expecting probably max attack, max speed, most likely Jolly, just to try to speed tie with Kyurem if I'm not Scarfed. But that's just my prediction. So here, I really need to scout to see if he has Earthquake, so I'm actually going to double back into Whimsicott, as he's actually going to switch out as well into the Uxie. And I thought, well, that's actually pretty great. So what this means, most likely, is that his Drapion does not have Earthquake. So it kind of looks like Heatran puts a stop to his Drapion. I'm not really sure why he's switching to Uxie, but regardless, with that being in, I have free reign here to basically throw off a Toxic, because one of the big things I needed to do in this match was to put a clock on his bulky mons, which is this and the Mega Latios, as he reveals to have Trick Room, and I thought, okay, well, Uxie isn't exactly the best Trick Room sweeper, but he does have one very good one up next in his Alolan Marowak. So, me predicting him to either U-turn out, I could have Encored him into Trick Room, but I figured trying to hinder the Marowak would actually serve my team better, as that thing actually just like puts dents in teams if left unchecked. I think it's like the playoff kill leader right now in our league. Because I want to put a damper on the Alolan Marowak, I'm actually going to predict him to either U-turn out or hard switch into the Alolan Marowak, and then I'm going to knock off on the Marowak. And if he does stay in for whatever reason, then fine, I get off what is most likely leftovers on the Uxie, and I'm also fine with that, as he does U-turn, and he's actually going to go into the Marowak like I predicted. So goodbye Thick Club, and Marowak is doing just half of the damage. So here, I calced it. Flare Blitz, actually, even without the Thick Club, Flare Blitz does kill from here. So I figured, okay, I'm perfectly fine with letting Whimsicott go down, and I will just like switch into Uxie after, Azelf after that and revenge it. And I'm gonna use just my last bit to like throw off a Toxic, but he actually reveals Low Kick. So I think he was predicting me to switch into Heatran there. So seeing that he is predicting Heatran. Well, was predicting Heatran here. What I'm going to do is encore him into low kick, predicting or trying to get basically a free switch into Azelf. So as we see, I do encore him there, and he gets the repeated low kick. Now I thought about just hard switching into Azelf, but I also thought that there's no way that he's staying in. So I'm just going to U-turn instead to see what he goes into, and seeing that he goes into Drapion, I'm going to U-turn, and me thinking that he doesn't have Earthquake because he didn't reveal it last time, I just go safely into my Heatran, and this is the perfect opportunity for me to get up my Stealth Rocks, as he's actually just going to go into Mamoswine. So 100% there is no way that he is not clicking Earthquake here. So as we see, yes, Earthquake comes in. I kind of had the same mentality about this with the Marowak. My original plan here was to encore Mamoswine into Earthquake and get a free switch into Azelf and basically get a kill. But as you see, he actually switches out into Marowak, so my encore fails, and unfortunately my Whimsicott here goes down. But that is perfectly fine because that still grants me the free switch into Azelf that I need. Now, I can't set up Nasty Plot here, sorry, stumbling over my words, but because Shadow Bone does just way too much damage to me. So, I was predicting whether he wanted to preserve this thing and save it as a sack, but seeing how low it actually was and seeing that he kind of switched it in there, I just can't play risks. I have to attack what's in front of me, and I go for the Shadow Ball, and sure enough, he does stay in, and we take down the Alolan Marowak. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to see me basically throw away the game. So, he brought in Drapion onto Azelf. Hey, what's the obvious thing you're thinking of? He is very clearly going to go into click Pursuit here. I checked before our match, and if I do not switch out, Pursuit has no chance of killing from here. I think it does between 45 and 53. It does like around half. So if I stay in here, I'm guaranteed to live this Pursuit. However, the calc does show that if he clicks Knockoff, it is a guaranteed KO. So my first thought, like I said, was, hey, Pursuit's gonna kill me if I try to switch out. And then I went into the thought of, but if he clicks Knockoff, then I'm just dead. So then I started thinking about, well, what would I rather get? what Pokemon would I rather take the Knockoff? Me not even thinking of, like, I just totally threw away the Pursuit thought in my head, and I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna switch into Heatran, predicting the Knockoff, and then, hey, look at this, he goes for Pursuit and kills me, and I literally just yelled in frustration. I was just sitting here in my room doing this battle, and I just yelled at myself, just because that was an inexcusable misplay. I was quite fuming during the match. So, seeing this, I have to make plays. I have to kill stuff. Azelf put in so much work against Matt's team, and I just basically threw it away. So I need to start making plays to get myself back into this game, and it starts off with me setting up with Haxorus. And as if he's max HP, I think Earthquake is a roll to kill, so I need to set up once. He has nothing that can KO me because I am holding the Z Crystal, so Knockoff has reduced damage. As I just go for the Earthquake here, and the Drapion goes down. Now he goes into his Latios here, and I am thinking, like, okay, well, even if he's just max HP, but no defense, Dragon Claw kills from here. I figured, like, this is, like, he basically just threw away his Latios for no reason, and I'm very confused as to why. And then he reveals that he is Choice Scarf Latios. So, we have a unique rule in this league. If you draft a Mega Pokemon, you can use either its Mega Form or its Base Form. Pretty much since that rule came into effect, I've been arguing against it and saying that that rule should change. I still am in line with that rule. I think it should change. I'm not knocking Matt for... I mean, it is a rule that we have, so he is perfectly allowed to use it, but, like, I mean, in this case, right here, it just makes something like Latios or Latios, like, way too predictable, especially when we allow Mega Latios and Mega Latios to exist in our league, when most of the times, most leagues ban it. Anyways, I'm not mad at Matt for using the Scarf Latias when he's perfectly able to. I'm just saying it caught me off guard, and I basically sacked Haxorus. However, one good thing to note about this is that I have actually a naturally good check to this in my Heatran. So that's I guess that's like kind of like silver lining, I guess, towards this whole Scarf Latias thing. So it's another reason I need to keep Heatran healthy for this. But with the special attack drop, he can't really kill Lopunny from here. So like I said, the only way for me to get back into this game is for me to make some plays. So I just need to set up the Power Up Punch Last Resort play. As we're gonna see here, I just start with the Power Up Punch. Barely hits the Uxie. However, he shows Rocky Helmet instead of Leftovers, which means that after toxic damage, it's like an extremely low roll. Like only I think like the lowest 2 or so rolls don't kill the Uxie. So I just need to, like I said, need to make plays. I have to kill something here, and I just decide to go Last Resort. I need to knock out this Uxie, and luckily I do. Take a little bit more Rocky Helmet chip, but I'm perfectly fine with that. But another problem, he has an easy revenge kill into Latias, but like I said, I have a naturally good check into my Heatran as he goes for the Draco and actually crits me. So one might say that this crit actually, like, it didn't really matter because, I mean, look at how much damage a crit did to this specially defensive Heatran. While true, the crit actually does come up a little bit later in the match, and well, we'll get to that when it comes down to. But presumably, and to myself as well, it looked like the crit didn't really matter all that much, but later it actually does come into effect, as we can see here. So he's gonna go out into Thunderous. I have to Flash Cannon here because with the Mons he has left, there is no reason for me to click Toxic or Taunt. So I'm just trying to get damage off. So now seeing that he goes into his Thunderous here, pretty much I need to catch him on, I need to either Scout or Focus Blast, which I'm pretty sure he has just because I do have a Kyurem and a Heatran, and as well I need the Heatran healthy to deal with the Latias because Kyurem cannot do that even if it is specially defensive. So I'm going to send out Kyurem here, and he does reveal to have Focus Blast and hits. So now I am just rifling through all the options in my head. And after going through everything, my 3 Pokemon left are weak to Focus Blast. There's no reason for him not to spam Focus Blast right now on a switch. So pretty much, I know I definitely have the investment to kill him with Ice Beam here, and pretty much my only out in this situation right now is basically just to hope for a Focus Blast miss. So I need to try banking on that. However, I do not get that, and my Kyurem goes down. So I am like really down right now. I need to do something here. My goal with this play here was to hope he somehow choked, and I can just spam Last Resort with Lopunny. That's the only way it can work. He actually thought, interestingly enough though, Matt thought that the way Last Resort worked was as long as I've used Power Up Punch at any point in the game, then I can use Last Resort. But that's not the case. I have to use the rest of my moves, so in this case Power Up Punch, every single time I switch Lopunny in. So I have to go for Power Up Punch here. But he actually pops his Z move here, his Z Thunderbolt, to kill the Lopunny, even though like normal Thunderbolt probably would have killed, which kind of does play into the factor here. So I'm thinking like I just lost this game, because even then, like, I mean, Mamoswine just comes in, clicks Earthquake. I need to just get rid of this. I need to get rid of this Thunderous. Just click Flash Cannon. Just get it down. Maybe get a crit. Doesn't really matter. Just get it down. But like it's basically GG here. Mamoswine comes in, clicks Earthquake. So because I'm doing post-com, you can't really see obviously the small interactions, but at this point right here, Matt is taking a really long time to decide which Pokemon to go out in, because in theory, like I've been saying, you should just straight up go into Mamoswine and just click Earthquake and win. So I'm thinking like the only way that he can't really, the only way that he doesn't like just click Mamoswine here is if he has no speed investment in his Mamoswine. So I thought, I'm just like, my heart starts racing. Is that, like, does he actually have a no-speed Mamoswine? So he switches in Mamoswine here. I have to click Flash Cannon because it's the only thing I do. And he actually has no speed in his Mamoswine. And oh my god, my heart was pounding. I actually just got back in this game. Like, I killed this Mamoswine. I don't know, like, if he clicked Ice Shard, like, anything. Like, somehow I am back in this game. He goes into Latias. I check the calcs. Draco can't kill from here. So he goes for Draco. And I live on 8%. And I just have to go for Flash Cannon. And I just get another chunk off of his Latias. And then my leftovers kicks in. I check the calc again. I can, at -2, I can still live the Draco hit. And I just go for Flash Cannon again, chipping this down slowly. And then my leftovers kicks in again. And then I check, at -4, can I live the Draco Meteor? I actually can, but it doesn't matter because he misses. And Heatran, my boy, my first round pick, somehow pulls clutch and brings the comeback win to Team Bump and Dump. And we're going to the semifinals of the playoffs. Oh baby, that was a fucking fantastic game. And I talked with Matt extensively after this match. So let's go over the crucial plays. So, like I said, his Mamoswine had no speed investment. He had no idea whether I had speed investment or not. So he did click Earthquake on that turn, and as we know, I am EV'd to outspeed a no-speed Uxie, which also in turn outspeeds a no-speed Mamoswine. He was this close away. He told me he was this close away from just clicking Ice Shard with his Mamoswine. And if you saw on the second Draco Meteor that Latias did with this, I was left at 3%, and Ice Shard did a min of 4%. So had he clicked Ice Shard, Matt would have actually won. However, another thing to note was the Ice Shard click would not have mattered had the very first Draco Meteor that Heatran took had not been a crit back in all those turns ago. So in that case, yes, the Ice Shard did matter in this specific case, but if that Draco did not crit, then it wouldn't have mattered at all. Also, I was talking about me throwing the game with Azelf and me letting it go down. Not necessarily true, because all that really happens there is if he clicks Pursuit, I would click Nasty Plot instead. That way I can guarantee the KO onto the Drapion with Flamethrower. But then Latias comes in and just revenges me. But then I'm left with a little bit more knowledge and more Pokemon to spare to try to deal with it. I mean, it kind of trades off, because then Haxorus would have still been alive to try to apply some pressure, instead of leaving basically that entire job to Lopunny. But regardless, GG to Matt. That was a fantastic game. That was the caliber of games that I always tell people. That's how me and Matt always play. It was just back and forth, and it came right down to the wire. And it was just awesome. So, we stay in the winner's bracket. Unfortunately, as of recording, we do not know our opponent yet. It is either going to be the winner of Steven, who coaches... excuse me. Steven, who coaches the Cambridge Crowdaunt, or Mike, who coaches Phil's Tits. One team has a Kyurem Black and Mega Gardevoir and Jirachi, and the other team has... and that's Steven's team, and Mike's team has Landers, Therian, Zygarde, 50, and Mega Mawile. So, both teams have super duper insane cores, so it's not going to be a fun match either way. One note, I did beat both of them in the regular season, although against Mike it was like week 2. So we're going to need to prep our asses off for either of those battles, whichever person I'm actually facing for week 2. So keep your eye out on the channel for next week's battle for the semifinals of the PDL, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Sorry.